and it's wonderful. I first want to say this here. As I sit here tonight, listening and being part of this discussion, I would have to say that my art is for the world. Heidelberg Street was the starting point, but the world is my target, it's my audience, and I see the importance of sharing with the world what we have here. Growing up in the 60s, I remember the Black Panthers, and I remember the black and white issues. I remember pop art, Andy Warhol, the Vietnam War, 1967 riots. I remember all of that. And my art talks about everything that I just mentioned. 2 + 2 = 8. And what do you mean by that, Tyree Guyton? Well, I believe that if there's no beauty, it's my job to create beauty. Plato said something that was very interesting. He said that we are all a toy of God here in this great creation, playing our parts. I would have to say to you guys today, I've come to understand that we are all part of this great magic. It's called life. And what time is it? Well, the time is now. The Heidelberg Project, I started it in 1986. I remember being in art school and I was told that it was important for me to find my voice. And I would say to you guys tonight that in 1986, I had this epiphany. It was a beautiful day that day. And out came the Heidelberg Project. So what time is it? It's now. It's always now. I also want to say to you guys that I thought it would be important to also invite Janine Whitfield to be part of this conversation, because there's two sides to the Heidelberg Project. There's the artistic side, and then there's the business side. You need someone to run it. And so I'm going to ask Janine to come in at this time and to say some things about the Heidelberg Project. I also want you to know that Janine is going to be taking over the Heidelberg Project, because after 35 years of working on the project, I feel that it's time for me to get back into the studio. So can you come in, Janine, and join me, and please have some words.
Good evening. Let me just try to get my video going so you guys don't talk too words. I just want to say good evening to our audience, and thank you, Tyree, for giving me an opportunity to share a little bit about the dynamics of Heidelberg versus Tyree Guyton. So it is true, I've worked with Tyree Guyton for 27 years, and recently well, actually not that recent, but in 2016, he did make the decision to dismantle parts of the Heidelberg Project, and along with that, to turn the reins over completely, or most completely, to myself and our team to launch what we are calling Heidelberg 3.0. The interesting thing about him turning the reins over is that many people thought that dismantling would look like, I'll just start taking things down, but that is not the process at all. In fact, we are in our 5th year of dismantling, because it's a very thoughtful and careful process. The way Tyree described it is that he took 30 years, 30 plus years up on an elevator, and then coming down, he would obviously stop at each floor and assess what it is that he's done. So as it stands right now, the Heidelberg Project is becoming much more linear. It is focused solely on Heidelberg Street now, and all the way down Heidelberg to our headquarters. We have made a strong and concrete investment in that community. And what we are doing now is we're focusing on how we incorporate elements of the Heidelberg Project in a more permanent way, and also incorporating the landscape into the permanency of the Heidelberg Project, as well as continuing on with our programs. So that is it in a nutshell. We are still very much active, and we still are recognized as one of the most influential art environments in the world, and also has become quite an asset to the city. So just that is where we are on that. And Tyree, if I missed anything, please feel free to jump in. But I think my job is done.
Janine, I want to thank you for that. Something came to me, Janine, as you were talking. The power of art, using art in such a way, and it's something that we have done over the last 30-some years, using a product as a magnet, as a way to build bridges, a beacon. And the whole world comes there to visit. I knew as a young person that I wanted to have friends all over the world. And if people won't go to a museum to see art, I was told this in art school too, then you take the art to the people. And so we've been doing that for the last 30-some years, and I'm so excited about the fact that we have taken it to the people. Let's show some more of those slides if we can, please.
Okay, I'm going to unmute. So did you want to just talk a little bit about this first slide here that's been showing?
Oh yeah, this first slide here is a piece that I was commissioned in a way to create this piece for Mackay, also Wayne State University and the Heidelberg Project. So bringing together these three entities, and we created this piece in the neighborhood, not that far from the Heidelberg Project, and it's titled "The Dispensation of Time," because everything is happening at time, all at the same time. So let's bring it to the next one, Janine. This right here was an exhibition at MoCA. I believe it was 2017. These are pieces from the Heidelberg Project, and thought it'd be good to take them out of one environment and to incorporate those pieces into another environment. So this is the MoCA show. Janine, let's see the next one, please. I love working with trees. And so this is part of a tree. And then you have these cutout shoes that's mounted at the top of it. I believe this is Western University. I was actually come there to create a sculpture piece. Let's see the next one, Janine. I had a great time with this building, with this project. It's called The Times. And this project, we created this project in Philadelphia. What time is it? Well, it's all of the times, all the time for me. Janine, let's see the next one. This piece is titled Giant Steps. I love jazz. I love the music of John Coltrane. Giant Steps. Once again, I said something earlier. If there's no beauty, then you create it. Hey Janine, I need you to help me with this here. I said to Janine, prior to working on this building, I was invited to go to Switzerland, and I said if I came back from Switzerland and this building was still abandoned and sitting there, I was going to transform it. And so I transformed this building into a work of art.
Right, and so if I could just add to that, what was incredible about this particular work was that it did something. You have to understand, this was in Midtown, and now this apartment complex is now a upscale, very expensive apartment. So just before we left in 2017, each one of those shoes was auctioned off, and I think most of the shoes are actually owned by people who live in the Midtown area. I'm done.
Yeah, let's go to the next one, please. Power to the people. once again, using art as a medicine, using art for me to change people's perception and building those bridges. And so this is a piece that we created over in China. Art has this language where it can speak. I don't speak Chinese, but this piece here kind of opens some doors. The next one, please. This is an inside of that structure. You was able to go inside of it, and on the inside, we decided to have some fun and to create some more art. The next one, Jenny. Clocks and faces and whatever. Once again, having some fun, learning to have fun in your work. The next one, please. I was commissioned by the city of Detroit to create this mascot for the Thanksgiving Day Parade. I believe it was in 2015 or somewhere along there, Janine.
2003. Oh my gosh, you're off by so many years.
Oh. Okay, the next one. Detroit Institute of Art. Janine, I don't remember the title of this piece here, but I was making a political statement.
So this one is called Open House, and it was in celebration of the DIA's tricentennial. It was a powerful piece. Inside it had the sound coming out that was really speaking about the issues and the fact that people running for office often plaster their campaign posters on abandoned houses. And remember, the question that Tyree asked was, why not put your poster on something you had accomplished?
And in this case here, I want to share with you all the importance of in this situation. We had Mike Banks and saw the need to bring some techno music and having music inside of this house. So it was fun. It's really fun working with those guys and bringing together the two different entities, music and art. The next one, Jenny. Wayne State University, sculpture piece. The George Foundation played a part in helping to make this a reality. Jenny, can you expound on that a little bit more?
Well, I mean, we're big on partnerships, and this is Wayne State, who's been a partner with Heidelberg and Tyree for over 25 years. But we won that. I forget the name of the award that they do every year, where they award an artist as well as an institution a $50,000 grant to collaborate. And it's gone up to $75,000 now. It's the Joyce Awards is what it's called. And so then this piece was actually created in that time frame with that award and in conjunction with Wayne State, and I think it was called Invisible Doors.
Jenny, can you show the next one?
That's it.
Hey, that's too bad. Something came to me, Janine, as you was showing those images, and it's something that Vincent van Gogh said. I'm gonna see if I can repeat it. He said, "If there's a small, still voice inside of you telling you that you can't paint, then by all means, paint." I see the importance of just at times, most of the times, you just have to go out there and just do it. And not be afraid to make mistakes, not be afraid to get it wrong, to get it right. You reach a point where you just know, you realize, you come to understand that there's no limits to how far you can go when it comes to the imagination, creativity. And so now what I would like to do, I can't think of anything else to say at the moment. I would like to open it up for questions.
But before you do that, Mr. Guyton, we did have a couple of things that we were going to generate a little discussion on that I was pretty sure that the audience would want to know a little bit more about before we enter into the question and answer period. So first, I have a list of about 3 questions that we talked about that we wanted to just generate a little bit more discussion on. So the first question is, how do you feel now that you're not as active on the Heidelberg Project and moving more into the studio, and is that difficult?
Yes and no to that. I would also say that age has a lot to do with it too. After 35 years of working on that project, and I want to go back to something that you said earlier. You kind of gave that elevator concept where for me, and I'm gonna see if I can kind of repeat it. Well, I'm using the elevator. Well, you're taking the elevator up to the 30th floor of a building, and now you're coming down, and you're gonna stop on every single floor just to look out. That's where I'm at now. So my studio is kind of calling me now. I'm turning the project over to you guys, and you guys are going to take it to the next level. And I'm excited. I'm excited about going back into the studio so I can work.
Thank you for that. And the other question that people ask a lot about, and you discuss a lot, first of all, you talk a lot about philosophy, but also you have been moving more in a spiritual direction. And I don't know if that has to do with age or if it's more about just what you've come to understand. But I know you talked about that, and I think that the audience would love to hear a little bit about that.
I was looking through my notes here. I kind of wrote down some notes last night. I would say yes to that, Janine, what you just said. I began to ask myself some very important questions about life, about reality, about time. And it came to me, I began to pay attention to this, that every day people are dying here in the world, and at the same time, people are born into the world. And I believe that there is something beyond this. I believe that. I believe it. I believe there is something that's holding it all together, that's bigger than mankind. And for me, I've come to understand that there is a creator. And when I go back to something that I said earlier, again, Plato said this. He said that we're all a toy of God. And I believe that. I believe that I'm a toy. I believe that I'm here to do my part and to be the very best that I can be. And when I leave this place, I believe there is something greater that awaits me. I believe that now. So my life has changed, and it keeps changing, and I'm excited about change. Change is endless.
And could you elaborate a little bit more on what role spirituality plays in the creation of your art?
Oh,
that's something that we talk about. And I'm doing this for the audience because I know that a lot of times you say that, you know, your voice is in your paintbrush. So I realize that sometimes you have to incite these questions and answers that can come from you that really can be enlightening to people, but we have to bring it out.
I appreciate that, Janine. And I tell you, you're the right person to bring it out, Janine. Hey, Janine, I want to share something with you, and then I'm going to expound on your question. And it's something that the great philosopher Nietzsche, something that he wrote. He said, art is the highest task and proper metaphysical activity of this life. The whole creation is a work of art, forever changing. What time is it? Well, the time is now, and everything is happening now in time. And at any given time, something's happening in this great creation. And I see the creation as a work of art. Every day there is something new. There is something wonderful. There's something to learn. And I would have to say that he's giving me these eyes to see. And once again, if there's no beauty created, but you have to learn to see the beauty, and it have to start with seeing the beauty in yourself. So that's where I'm at.
2 + 2 = 8.
Yes.
What in the world are you talking about?
I'm talking about thinking outside of the boxes of reality. I'm talking about creating your own reality. I'm saying to the world, I'm saying to myself, it's okay to get it wrong, to get it right. It's okay to make some mistakes. And every single time that life knocks you down, get up and keep getting up. Fight the good fight of faith. Stay true to what you believe in. John F. Kennedy said that art is not a form of propaganda. He said, art is the truth. So you create art and you tell your truth. That's what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, we did not share with the audience the show that you recently kind of self-curated. And so that is the part 2 that we should probably try and do. If I can have a minute here to stop this current screen share, and hopefully this works okay, but technology. So bear with us for just a second. And Tyree, while I'm doing this, I would say to you that you could share a little bit about what's coming up for you. And what you've been doing also in reference to the K through 12, training these young people. I think that's very powerful, and the audience would like to know that you're moving into that kind of mentorship.
Well, it's always been part of my plan, and my purpose has always been to work with young people. And I knew one day I was going to have to pass the baton. I think it's good to give it back to young people, and I like working with young people because it helps keep me young. And I find myself learning. I find myself learning from young people. I find myself learning from kids. I did a Skype, I believe it was yesterday, and I was talking to some kindergarten kids, and I just had a blast. I had a chance to meet a dog, and I had a chance to meet a baby doll and a cat, and so I'm having a great time right now, Janine. Great time exploring new possibilities now. All right, how are we coming with the technology, Janine? Hey, Janine, why don't we open up for questions and answers, and then we can see if we can bring up the.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm not sure if there's any Q&A, but I guess our host can let us know if there's some questions and answers, right?
Let's keep.
And I what I can do on this side. So yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. For everyone that's listening, if you want to have we can turn this into a sort of conversation and Q&A from the audience, which would be great. So just for anyone that wants to there's the Q&A link or the chat. Either way, I can read that out and Tyree can answer. While you guys are thinking about that, I was interested in, I remember, Tyree, seeing your work, and I moved to Michigan in 1997, and I left for a long time, but I've just come back recently. And I remember seeing the Heidelberg Project it must have been maybe 1999 or 2000. And then when I've come back now, 3 years ago, it's, you know, it's obviously still there, but it's developed this whole other life that's been, you know, just amazing, people coming to Detroit to see that. I mean, because I remember there was a lot of discussion in the news of sort of, you know, maybe certain pushback of the city or what was going to happen. Are they going to get rid of it? Are they going to keep it? And it's just been so incredible how that persistence and kind of, you know, bringing people into it it seems like it's just taken on this whole life. Can you talk a little bit about that process? It's been like, for an art project to have that much history with the city and like it's developed a relationship with the city, it feels like.
Yes, it's been a very interesting journey. My journey has been the good, the bad, the ugly. The 1, 2, 3 ology of what is life. Life is full of challenges. If you're going to make it in the world today, and let's say you're going to be an artist today, I believe you need something to say, and you can't be afraid to say what it is that you need to say. Mm. And I tell you, it's so important for me to have something to believe in and something to fight for. Mm-hmm. See, when I die, I'm going to leave something behind, and I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. Heidelberg Project, Heidelbergology. What is Heidelbergology? It's the study of found materials and people incorporated back into the fabric and the structure of that community. And in this case here, the whole community, which is the world, because everybody's going through something. And so you teach people how to fight. Mm. That's what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah, it's really, I mean, that project in particular is so amazing for how it's like a mirror of the city in a way too, because it's composed of the stuff of Detroit, of the stuff of the city, but now, you know, in a very different way. So to see that go to now being like you having the ambassador art piece in a parade, you know, that's just, it's such a journey.
Well, let's go deeper than that, Gretchen. Let's talk about using art to talk about the world. Hmm. See, the world is in trouble. Mm-hmm. And there's no way out of this. The world is so chaotic, but you have to be able to see the beauty in all of it. That's where I'm at. Mm-hmm. So I find myself thinking big now. You know, it's not only Heidelberg, it's not only the city of Detroit, it's all over the world. Mm-hmm. And if I sit here talking to you guys, I would say that art is very political at times. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to be political. It was political back in the 60s during the Vietnam War, the movement of the Black Panthers and so forth. Mm-hmm. And here we are today. And so I'm using art to tell my story, but also as a medicine. Mm-hmm.
And what sorts of activities are you doing with kids? Are they art-based projects or workshops, or what kind of interactions are you having?
I would say to you, I am having a great time talking on Zoom.
Right.
What do you think about that? Here we are Zooming now.
Yep.
And the world has been Zooming for a long time, but now we saw a way to use it as a way to talk and communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for us, it's a big transformation this whole year, being in schools, and Zoom in some ways has been, I mean, you're kind of in our area, we're in the same part of the world, but still we've been able to, there's certain things about it that have been interesting for just being able to engage a much wider geography of people. You know, you just have to turn on your screen to give a talk. And that's been actually the accessibility of artists to other artists and students to artists has actually grown, I think, a lot just through Zoom. And there are other things that are lost maybe, but not everything.
How do you explain that? 20 years ago, it was something else. And now today it's Zoom. And I'm pretty sure that in the next 50 years, there's going to be something else.
Mm-hmm.
So what time is it? What is art today? What can art be?
Mm-hmm.
I just say that we use art to change the world.
Mm-hmm.
At least I do. And I'm loving it. But I want to say something too that just came to me. And I'm going to try to say it in a way where I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But art is deeper than making love. Art.
Mm-hmm.
Because you reach a zone, at least I have. You reach this zone where you become it, where you are in it.
Mm-hmm.
You are ready to die for it.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't care what the city think, or you only know that what's important is to know what you know. So that's what's happening. And I'm just having a great time talking to the kids. Hey, Janine, and you can also talk about the programs that you guys are having at your office.
Well, we have the Heidelberg Arts and Leadership Academy, and that's like going on 4 years now, and we work with 11 schools throughout Detroit, including alternative and reform. So just demonstrating how art and creativity really can wake up the imagination and the senses of these kids. There's a lot of boredom too, just in terms of trying to work with children through this tool, and they are struggling. So we are trying to come up with creative ways to use our space in a socially distant and responsible way to kind of get them out of get these Zoom frames and lenses out of their face so much. Also, we've got a children's book coming out that we're very excited about. It's based on the life story or Tyree's adventures as a young child or a young boy. And I'm very excited about that. Our last book, children's book, Magic Trash, sold over 50,000 copies. So, and we sold out of our book with Wayne State. So we think that there's a lot of lessons that we can now share with other people.
That's great. Do you have, I'm wondering about getting into art years ago and how, our students now are finding their way, because at Cranbrook everything is, very open, and it's a lot about finding their way through their own work in a way that's different maybe than, at least in the architecture degrees, the Master of Architecture is usually a more structured curriculum, and at Cranbrook it's much, it's completely open, and so students are finding their interest and figuring out how to make that into a practice. I wonder if you have thoughts about that from your own experience of how do you get that going, or where did it start for you?
I want to share with you a little secret, okay? And then you're going to keep it between us, okay? When I was in art school, and I'm pretty sure you probably know this person, know of this person, Charles McGee, the late Charles McGee. Charles McGee was my instructor for
Wow.
3.5 years.
Wow.
And Charles McGee, him and Ollie McGee told me that they wanted me to go and lock myself up in my studio for 2 weeks, not to come out. They wanted me to listen to the music of John Coltrane and Monk and some Mozart. Mm-hmm. And smoke a joint and then paint myself naked. And I did it because my professor told me to do that.
Right.
I think what makes you an artist is when you can find yourself, when you can find your voice, when you can find out what you want to do and who you are. Mm. When you challenge yourself, that's your worst critic, is when you can get it in you that this is what you are. Mm-hmm. This is what you want to be. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I can say that is because I went through it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, not knowing where that's going to go either. I mean, as you talked about, taking art outside into a public realm is, maybe even more vulnerable in a way because it's now so present, it's so public, it's part of everyone's world, not just your own or the gallery. So that's a trial by fire, I guess. It's very, it's very intense, I would have thought.
I would say that you have to learn to let go. When I'm working on a canvas, I'm not trying to tell the brush where to take me. I have come to understand, let the brush take you places.
Mm-hmm.
You have to lose yourself. At least I do. I'm going to speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be afraid to get lost in order to find yourself. I want to go back to something I said earlier. You have to make some mistakes. You have to get it wrong to get it right, and then get it right to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This way and it's that way.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find a balance. Yeah.
What was the perception? I was curious about your project in China and the biennial there. What was the reception of the work there, taking something that is grown from your experiences here in Detroit and now in this different context? Was it a different conversation there than it is of people coming to Detroit from other places to look at the work here in person?
Well, I would say to you, and I said it earlier, that art has a way of speaking to people no matter who they are or what they might be. Art is a universal language. And so in my case, I also knew that I wanted to use my art to take it around the world. Mm-hmm. Let my art speak for me. And you do something that makes people from other countries want to invite you to come. Mm-hmm. They feel you have something to say. They feel you have something to share. And also we're building bridges. Yeah. Mm. I want friends all over the world. I don't know about no one else. I want friends. I like that.
Yeah.
Like being able to send out a text to my friends in China or my friends over here. Love that.
Yeah. Being connected.
That's important.
Right.
For me.
Hmm. So do you see your work now, if Janine is taking over sort of the primary leadership of the Heidelberg Project, where do you see your work going? Are you interested in different kinds of media or different sorts of environments or gallery work? I think the MoCAD show was interesting because it was sort of like a conversation with the Heidelberg Project in a way, that kind of inside and outside public and institutional conversation. What sort of work do you see yourself doing?
Well, I've been told that, if you take your work and you put it in a museum or gallery, it's gonna take away the magic. And I say to people, bullshit. When you're an artist, you can do it anywhere. Mm. So I'm gonna answer your question by saying this. The whole world is my canvas. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna take it one day at a time, and I'm just gonna continue to make great art and let the art take me where I need to go. See, because I don't know where I need to go. It's kind of like believing in you reach a point where you know and you believe and you trust in the creator of the universe and you let him take you. Mm-hmm. At least for me.
Sure.
Kind of like life. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. Mm. But if I wake up tomorrow, damn it, I'm going to have a great time.
That's right. Yeah. Or make work.
That's it. I'm going to do some art.
Yeah.
And also I think that comes a time, and Janine, you can kind of add to this if you want to. I think that you can't be afraid when it comes to art, when it comes to creativity. You can't be afraid to go against the grain. I want to be like you. I want to be like me. And you can't be afraid to be alone sometimes. Good to get alone. Be by yourself. Talk to yourself. Love yourself. Yeah. I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to find my true voice. I want to say my art the way I want to say my art.
That's great. I mean, that's just so much about the conversations, so we have with students, or the students are having, like how that conversation that you're having about yourself or through yourself, or reflecting on yourself through your artwork, but in a way that's also, you learn about yourself, but you also learn about the world through that process as well. So it's, it's both in kind of close and to you, and also can be reflective of things that are much bigger than us, and happening around us.
I would say to you, and you just said it, it's bigger than us. And we have to come to that realization of understanding that it's bigger than us. Mm-hmm. It's going to take you places, and you have to learn to not be afraid. And so you let go. Mm-hmm. You reach a point where you don't care, and I get critics all the time. I don't care.
Can't listen to that. Yeah.
Well, you get them talking. That's the point. I mean, I was told that if you did a show and 100 people came to see your show and everybody felt the same way, something's wrong with that show.
Right.
Shake it up.
Mm. Yeah.
But can I just jump in and just say, though, that is something that is acquired after much experience and after a long time. And I think a lot of people don't have those tools initially. And I think that one of the things that we've talked about often is that the balance in life is how things go, how things work, how things function. What I mean by that is that we use this example all the time. The process of getting clothes cleaned in a washing machine is called agitate. Or if you look at what it takes to get light, you need both a negative and a positive charge. And that becomes an analogy in life that students really can learn to embrace, that you do need a little bit of both. And that's what's going to build you. We talk about that all the time too, right, Tyree?
I do. And Jenny, and then there's an old saying that goes like this here, and it says that no pain, no gain. And I'm going to go back to that concept, Jenny. You mentioned the agitator, right?
Right.
Yes. I also believe too that you have to give it to the wind. You have to believe in yourself. You have to learn to see it. And you can't be afraid to go out there and make it happen. You do your part. Also, I believe this here, and it has a lot to do with experience, and I want to thank you for that, Janine. Time and age, where you're not chasing it, you let it chase you. And I talk to young artists about this all the time. And they want people to come, and they want people to look at their work, and they want art shows in New York. And it took time for me to reach this point where I have an agent in New York, and I had an agent in Switzerland, and then Janine has been an agent here in this city, in the state. But it takes time, and your work you have got to let your work speak for you. How do you make good art? You make great art. You give your art a voice to speak, and then make people listen. And then they come and talk to you.
We had a couple of our students in architecture were down at the Heidelberg Project and saw you, and I think met you and had a chat with you, and they came back and said, we need to get Tyree into the studio. We want to hear him talk more about his work. And so it's you being there. I mean, the work has that voice, but also it was just such a lucky moment where you were there and they could actually see you in that, in that environment. So it's so great to have you with us.
That was so.
I'm sorry, I do think I can bring up that recent work that might be interesting to show now.
For sure, please do, yeah.
Let's see if we can make it happen, Jenny.
Okay, it's a make it happen kind of a thing for sure. Hang on.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Right. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that?
I'm just seeing the thumbnail, not the full video.
I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I think it's because it's a video. And I'm trying, you see this screen with all of these images, correct?
Yep.
But yeah, I'm not able, it just seems like I cannot bring the video part of it up. That's what I'm trying to share with the audience, and it's not working.
So if you double click it, it doesn't show up.
Yeah.
Okay, Janine.
I'm sorry about that. We just have to let that go for now until I figure out how to work better with technology.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for that.
No problem. We'll see you the next time. Well, when we have you come back and give a talk or come to the studio, it'd be great to see what other work you're heading into.
I want to say this too. I think it's so important. And Jenny mentioned that I'm taking part of the Heidelberg Project apart. And I want you to try to visualize this logic. So I'm going to take apart my artwork. My artwork has been demolished. I have dealt with arson fires. My artwork has been stolen. And so now I'm going to take it apart myself. Can you imagine what's going on inside of me as I take apart my project? It puts me in the driver's seat. It puts me in a position where I'm learning things that I didn't know before. I put it up and now I'm taking it down, but in a very methodical way where I'm writing about it as I take it apart to let it become something else. I am so damn excited about life and reality because I can create my own reality.
That must be a fascinating process. Also because there's so much time built into that project. I mean, what is it, 30, you said 30 some years so you're not just undoing the physical thing, you're sort of undoing the moment at which it was produced along that time frame. It must be a surreal experience.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I'm comparing it to life. We will die one day. So you leave this dimension and you step over into something else. That's what I see with the Heidelberg Project as I take it apart, but in a good way.
Sorry, we have a question from Kevin in the audience. Saying a fascinating talk. He was really excited about the talk. He was wondering what role color plays in your work, from the architectural interventions that you do to social and political questions that you're asking, or that environment that the work is developed in. How do you think about color?
Color is life. And I'll give you an example. The only time you can see the stars is at night. What would life be without color? And Yahweh proved a point. He proved his point by making us people, different shades of people. I'm looking at your bookshelf. Color. So color is everything. It's life.
Thank you so much. It's been amazing. If there's other questions, please type them in. Unfortunately, we can't get the video going, so we'll have to have you back so we can see the video work. Was a video of a newer work that you're doing now?
I just finished a new body of work. I took fragments from the Heidelberg Project. I really wanted you guys to see it, and bear with me. I'm going to try something, okay?
Sure, please.
And I hope we can make this work. I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you over here.
Oh, this is true Guyton fashion, and I'm always
Love it.
moved because he's actually going to take you over, I think, to the site and maybe turn the computer camera around to let you see.
Can you see
That's
it?
really good.
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Can you stand back a little bit? Right.
Can you see it?
Yep. So those are pieces from the Heidelberg.
Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah, yeah.
And this piece is titled Black Beauty. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Can you see it?
You can see it. Wow.
Yeah. And the beautiful thing too is that this is curated in a lived-in home, and it's yeah. You can step back a little bit, Tyree. Great.
Lovely. Yeah. So now it's like the house is becoming the sort of indoor site for another art, sort of immersive and continually growing art project.
Can you see it?
It's not only that, Gretchen, is he's given the landlord here an idea of what he thinks he might want to do with the building in terms of art, which supports that whole philosophy, 2 + 2 = 8, create your own reality.
Right. Yeah. Wow. So the landlord is pretty open to this building becoming like another sort of site for experimentation and artwork.
He loves
He's
art.
got this idea as a result of Tyree. I'll let you go ahead and talk a little bit about that. It's how he wants the building to look. And I do have maybe this one picture, at least I could show you on the outside of the building that would just be amazing for you guys to see. Let me see if I can do that at least.
Okay.
You can see that.
Not the full size, but we can see which image you're looking at, I think.
Yeah, this is
Oh, gosh. Terrible. I don't know what to do.
it's very small, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to waste time with it
No,
because I don't know how to do that. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
I don't know why that's not working either. It should actually work.
Yeah,
I
hit the share button, but it doesn't. But it's really beautiful. The building itself is a building that has these 4 white columns, just phenomenal on the outside, and people walk by and look at the art in the windows.
Oh, wow.
And this is what's feeding and this is in Indian Village in Detroit, but this is what's feeding the landlord to think about how he wants to use this building and has been drawing on Tyree's energy to do that.
Fantastic. And they live there too. So they're living there at the same time.
Yeah.
I think the screen share setting is set to window. So one of our students said that maybe the screen share setting is set to window, not the screen. If you share your screen, you can sometimes choose which window is open to share. So if you share, does it give you an option?
I was thinking double clicking on the icon as well, the thumbnail, to see if it opens.
There we go. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Fantastic. Maybe we could watch the video now too.
You want to try it, Janine?
Gosh, that's an incredible house.
It's beautiful.
Indian Village is a wonderful zone of Coabic pottery and tiles, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's where you're sitting right now.
Tyree, it's Mike Paradise. I just wanted to ask you a quick question.
Please, Mike.
I have found in my own collection some video that I took when my wife and I visited the Heidelberg Project in 2013. Would you like to have it?
Janine? Let me talk to my boss lady here.
I would say we would like to have it, definitely, because we have archives. And we're also part of the Google Cultural Institute, but we are, what do I say, we're fine-tuning or building our archives and creating a library. So absolutely, we'd like to have it. Thank you.
Contributions. That's great. I wanted you to have it. It was a windy day, but a beautiful sunny day in Heidelberg. And you should have it.
I'm just
Fun.
sorry. I was just going to say, I was going to try the video again.
Try it again. You are.
Yeah, if that worked, then the video might too. That'd be great to see. That's interesting, Mike, to see. I mean, video is nice to see if it's 7 years ago that, or 8 years ago, how much that has changed in the meantime.
Yeah. And speaking of change, change is so needed. Change. Janine, are we there?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should mute. Sorry. No, we're not there.
Okay.
I'm going to mute.
I really wanted you guys to see this this show, taking the fragments from the Heidelberg Project and taking them to another dimension. And you create these wall pieces, and you make them very, very colorful, and you break all of the rules, and you just kind of let it take you on a journey. And so that's what I wanted you to see. But also, I want to share this with you, Gretchen, something that I'm sitting here looking at. And it goes like this here. It says, art is the highest. Now, that's Nietzsche. I'm going to go to the next one. Sorry about that. It says, great art can communicate before it is understood.
Mm.
Great art.
That's lovely. Yeah.
Before it's understood.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you know you're onto something, you know, when you get people who love you or hate you, and and when your art could make someone want to burn down one of your structure, that's when you know you're onto something.
Yeah, you're definitely onto something. I mean, it's it's feeling. It's some connection through feeling. Whether what it means to that particular person, you can't necessarily control, but you've made them feel something.
That's right. That's right. You bring something out in them, and I'm going to go back to art becoming a medicine, the kind of medicine that makes people think and make people respond.
Hmm. Absolutely. What will if you're taking down the Heidelberg, do you imagine it all will be recycled into new work, or some parts of it going to stay, or new parts of it going to grow?
It's going to be all of that. It's going to be, I have a dumpster that we're getting rid of some stuff, and we're going to take some stuff and we're going to make that into something else, and some stuff is going to stay. It's all of that. It's that 1, 2, 3 ology that equals one. It's all.
Right. Fantastic.
So yes, yeah, you had you reach a point, at least I have, where you reach, I'm at this point where you learn to do it all. Get rid of some stuff, hold on to stuff, and then take some stuff to another level.
Right.
And then create your own art show.
And it's all, it feels like the kind of piece that's also a work project that's been constantly changing. You were mentioning change a minute ago, and how important that is, that it's, it, even as the city changes around it, but it itself has changed. I'm sure Mike's video from 8 years ago will be interesting to remember kind of where you were at that moment in the work, and now it's finding, it's still growing, whether that's inside or outside. I think that's a fascinating thing to track, that change over so many years.
In fact, Gretchen, I just brought it up on my screen. I'm going to try and share for a second. I'm going to scrub through this real quick, see if you can see it.
Please do.
Hold on.
Yeah.
You see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Jackie.
Okay.
They're all beautiful works.
Wow, that's a
Depends on
very,
it depends on where you stop.
Yeah.
Look at that.
and so sunny and clear. What a beautiful day to
Oh,
see
it was
it.
just an incredible day.
Wow.
Check this out.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
No longer standing. The obstruction
know.
of justice act.
Oh, no.
No, that was one of the 12 fires.
Wow.
Mm.
Really.
Mhm. Wow. Beautiful, Mike.
It's beautiful, Tyree. It's your work.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'll send that along with a few other videos I have for you.
That
That'd
sounds,
be great. Thank you.
that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Let's talk some more about change. I mean, look at the trees. There's no leaves on the trees.
Mhm.
Change. And so back then it was this, and next is going to be something else. Janine said something to me, and I want to see if I can repeat this. She said that when you are okay with everything as far as change, then change is okay with you too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be. You guys have any more questions for me before we bring it to an end?
I don't think so. We got to the questions online, so I don't. But it's just been so great to talk with you and have this conversation. And I like that we can see the work and bring other things into it, and just have the talk. So really fascinating, and to see where you're going as well. And we'll be following that for sure. We'll keep having you back to see what's changed.
I want to say this to you. This is very important. I didn't think that I was going to have this opportunity to speak to you guys at Cranbrook. I didn't think that. And over time, the art world, I want to say that this is really important. There's a lot of politics in the art world, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Those two students that came to me, I'm so glad they came. And they said they're going to make this happen.
Yep.
That's how you build bridges.
Absolutely.
So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you to Michelle and Ryan for spending the day there and meeting you, because it was great to have this conversation. Thank you, and Janine, so much for joining us. It's just been fantastic, and yeah, we really appreciate the time and the work.
Fantastic. I hope to hear from you guys real soon again.
We'll do, Mike. At least very shortly, we'll send you those videos. So, but we'll keep in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mike.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care, Janine.